One of these men is a special investigator for the United States Internal Revenue Service. What is your name, please?
My name is Harry Lauderdale.
What is your name, please?
My name is Harry Lauderdale.
What is your name, please?
My name is Harry Lauderdale.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one is the real Harry Lauderdale and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now, here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by the Tony Company, greatest name in home beauty. Tony, world leaders in hair research. And now may I introduce our panel. First, Miss Polly Bergen. Next, Mr. Don Ameche. Then Miss Kitty Carlisle. And finally, Mr. Tom Poston. Tom, congratulations from all of us on the wonderful notices you got in your play, The Golden Fleecing.
Thank you, Bud, and all of you.
We're doubly pleased because we know that from the reviews the show is going to stay in New York for a long time. That means you're going to stay in New York for a long time, so you'll be with us for a long time.
Well, I hope so,
That
Bud.
makes us all happy.
I missed you all.
We missed you, but we're glad it was for a good cause. Now, panel, follow along, if you will, please, with your copies of this first affidavit as I read it to you. I, Harry Lauderdale, am referred to by bootleggers as a revenuer. More accurately, I am a special investigator for the United States Treasury Department. Recently, I've been acting as an undercover agent, tracking down distillers and distributors of illicit moonshine whiskey. Once, while posing under an assumed name as a parking lot employee, I bought 66 gallons of moonshine to use as evidence. I was apprehended by a local sheriff with the whiskey in the back of my car. I was arrested and later indicted by the grand jury. The Treasury Department revealed my identity to prevent me from serving a sentence in jail. Signed, Harry Lauderdale. Now, you heard these three gentlemen all claim to be Harry Lauderdale, revenuer, Treasury agent. Gentlemen, you all set to play our game? All right, we'll start this first round of questioning then with Miss Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Number one, what is moonshine made of?
Moonshine is a distilled spirit that is
What is the base of it?
mash.
Mash coming from what?
Mash is made from water, sugar, and meal.
Number two, why is it called moonshine?
Well, that's a good question. Sometimes it's called white lightning, moonshine, stump juice. It's actually just bootleg
juice?
liquor.
Stump juice?
Yes, ma'am.
Number three, you had 66 gallons in the back of your car. How could you try it? Were you using it for gasoline?
No, it had heavy-duty springs on it, so you can get it in the trunk. And it's in half-a-gallon fruit jars.
Number one, do you carry a gun when you're on duty?
Most of the time.
Number two, who's the Secretary of the Treasury?
Secretary of Treasury? That's Robert B. Anderson.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. I'd like to ask number three, do you know how many dollars worth of moonshine whiskey or bootleg whiskey was sold in this country last year?
Well, it set a new record around $1 billion.
Number two, how much does that mean in a loss to the Treasury Department? Do you know?
Well, for every gallon of moonshine that's sold without tax, it means, if it's 100 proof, it means $10.50 lost.
Out of $1 billion bootleg sale, how much would that come to in terms of...
That'd be kind of hard to figure out.
I'm going to make you make up the addition, not me. I can't add anything. Let me ask, number one, how is moonshine whiskey cut?
It's cut with water.
And how's it colored, sir?
Sometimes with burned sugar.
Polly Bergen.
Well, you know, this is very difficult for me because I'm from Tennessee, you know, and we have a lot of moonshiners down there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you had a still.
No, but my father did. But what happened actually is that he had a dog, a little bulldog trained, who would hide the bottles in the mountains, you see. He would go and take the bottle and dig a hole and hide it. And the dog died. And he couldn't find any of it after. they're digging up that hill and they're finding bottles of moonshine. But anyway, number one, sir, what state have you been operating in, or do you operate all over?
All over. I'm living in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Number two, is Tennessee a dry state?
No.
Number three, is Tennessee a dry state?
No, it is not.
Number
Ameche.
3, what grain is moonshine made from?
Well, basically, it can be made either from corn, rye, or barley.
Number 2, what is the grain used to make moonshine?
The grain, well, usually they grind corn, any type of corn, anything like that. We'll grind it, we'll make a mash that will sour the water and sugar.
Number 3, what is the original color of moonshine?
It's clear.
What?
Clear.
Clear, and it's clear to me that it's time to vote right now, panel. So if you will, please, without consultation, kindly mark your ballots. And in so doing, you will, as usual, select number 1, number 2, or number 3. Remember, of course, that, as always, the team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All set, panel? Polly, you ready? Which one is a revenuer?
Well, I voted for number 1 because he looks a little like the way my father used to describe revenuers. And also, I just came, my mother and father live in Tennessee, and you can't buy liquor there. And
No, but you can
whiskey.
dig.
And 1, 2, and 3 said it was not dry. And if it ain't dry, I wish you'd tell a few of my friends down there because they don't know.
All right, Don, your vote, please.
I voted for number 2 because he kind of fits my idea of what a revenuer should look like.
Okay, Kitty?
Well, number 2 knew some fascinating names for moonshine, but I thought it was number 1 because of the way he looked, and I thought, as Polly did, that Tennessee is dry.
Tom?
I thought it was between 1 and 3 in terms of their answers, although I thought that all of these gentlemen knew a lot about moonshine whiskey. I would like to find out from the right one what he did. You only need a gallon, you know, for evidence. I wonder what he did with the other 65, or was going to do before that alert sheriff caught him. I think it was number 1, Bud.
All right, there we have it now. You have voted and expressed your reasons why. We'll find out now whether we're right or wrong as we discover which one of these gentlemen is the real revenuer. So may I ask, please, for our Treasury agent, the real Harry Lauderdale, to please stand up. Well, panel, so far you're picking up where you left off. 3 of you voting for the right one and 1 for the wrong. Let's go along and find out about these other gentlemen. Now, number 2, would you please tell us what your real name is and what you do?
Yes, sir. I'm Master Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. I'm stationed out on Long Island.
Thank you, sir.
Recruiting in the Levittown area.
All right, thank you. And number 3, your real name, sir, and what you do?
My name is Hilliard Steele. I live in Comac, Long Island. I work with Shell Oil Company as an accountant here in the city.
The panel was real astute tonight, or had a good instinct working for them, I don't know which. But in any event, there was only 1 incorrect vote at $250, and that's what it is from Tony. Of course, on your way out, you will each find a wonderful gift package of all of Tony's wonderful products. Good night to you, sirs, and good luck. Well, we've got a small feud going here. It seems the revenuer says that Tennessee is not dry, and Polly says that you can get 3.2 beer, and that's it.
But that's all my father can get. And
Well,
believe me, if there was anything else, he could find it.
On that note, let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mrs. Donald Upton.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mrs. Donald Upton.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mrs. Donald Upton.
Okay, panel, will you follow along with your copies of this next affidavit? I, Mrs. Donald Upton, am the wife of a radio and television production manager. I was born and raised on a dairy farm. I was once chosen to represent my country in an international beauty contest. After winning that contest, I gave up a chance for a movie career to return home to finish college. I am a former Miss Universe. Signed, Mrs. Donald Upton. Three pretty girls, I think you'll agree, panel, all claiming to be Mrs. Donald Upton, a former Miss Universe. And let's start this questioning with Don Ameche. Don?
Number one, where was the Miss Universe contest held?
Long Beach, California.
Number two, what does stripping a cow mean?
Milking the cow clean.
Number three, what does stripping a cow mean? Number one, what does stripping a cow mean?
I'd say the same thing.
Number three, what percent of milk is cream, generally speaking?
Well, you know, I don't know too much about...
Number one, what
Maybe.
percent is cream, generally speaking?
I'd say about 20%.
Number two, how do you make butter?
You churn the milk.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number one, what country are you from?
Germany.
And what country are you from, number two?
United States.
And number three?
France.
France. Where do you come from in France?
Vichy.
Is that where you lived on a farm?
Yes, it was.
What is the main product of Vichy? Not milk, surely it's water.
Sure.
Number two, what is brucellosis?
I don't know.
Number one, do you know what brucellosis is?
No, I don't.
Do you know what undulant fever is, number two?
I couldn't tell you.
Number one, what were your measurements when you were Miss Universe?
38, 25, 36.
And number two?
36, 24, 36.
Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Gosh, I'm really... Number three, I don't know whether we're doing the right thing here. Number three, you lived on a dairy farm. Do you know anything about dairy products and dairy farming and so forth?
I know a little bit, but not much. You know, it was my father's business, not mine.
Not yours so much. How did you make butter on your dairy farm?
How we did that? Well, I don't even know, sir. I am sorry, I don't know.
Don't know. Number one, how do you make butter?
Well, you sort of divide the milk and the cream, and then you turn it, and you have...
I can't seem to get one specific factor that has to be there to make butter. Nobody's mentioned it. Number two, do you want to change your answer at all? What? Pardon me, number one?
You take the fat off the butter. You divide the fat from the milk.
Polly Bergen.
Well, let's see now. Number two, it says in your affidavit that you gave up a chance for a movie career. What particular studio was that?
That was with Universal International.
Number one, where is Universal International?
Well, they have an office in New York, but they also have it in Hollywood.
Yes, where is it located in Hollywood, the studio?
I don't know. I've never been there.
Number two, do you know?
No, I don't.
Number three, do you know?
What is it?
Number one, what year did you hold this title?
1953.
Who was the head of the Miss Universe contest at that time? Who ran the contest?
Mr. Meinhardt.
Okay, that's it. Time once again to vote. Without consultation, will you please mark your ballots and vote as you have before. For number one, number two, or number three. Okay, everybody marked?
No.
No.
Well,
Mark
I
them
just
quickly
don't even have
because
the
we're
vaguest idea.
running a little over here. Holly, you all ready? There we go. Okay, which one, Polly?
I don't have any idea. I just voted for number two. I don't know very much about dairies. I know you churn, but number three could possibly not know that and still have lived on a farm. So I don't know who it is. I just picked number two because you rushed me.
That would be a very happy privilege to rush you, believe me. Don?
I voted for number two because I voted for number two the first time. I thought it was a good number, so I'll try it again.
Stay with it. Kitty?
Well, I voted for number two because she said stripping meant milking a cow clean, and I believe that's true. I'm not sure, but I really think it's number three.
I see.
That's who I think it is.
Detect a measure of doubt in your own confidence here. Tom?
Gosh, well, number two is right about stripping a cow, but number one did agree with her.
Yeah.
Which means nothing except that cow was certainly stripped. That's all. Okay, there we have it. Our votes. Let's discover now how right or wrong we may be as we find out which one of these ladies was a former Miss Universe. So may I ask the real Mrs. Donald Upton to please stand up. very much, Mrs. Upton. Number one, would you tell us your real name and what you do, please?
I'm Susie Peterson, and I'm a photographic model and making my debut as a singer tonight in Saxony Club on the East Side.
Good. Good luck to you. And number three, may I have your real name and what you do, please?
My name is Colette Combs. I work in a Rockefeller Center in a French bookstore called Librairie de France.
Thank you. Tom, I have no time for questions. I'm sorry.
I'd like to know what number two's maiden name was, Mrs. Upton.
What was your maiden name, Mrs. Upton?
Miriam Stevenson.
Miriam Stevenson.
All right, there we have it. And let's check on the score now. We find that there were 1, 2, 3 correct and only one incorrect again. Same score for the panel. That means, of course, a total of $250 from Tony on your way out, a gift package of all of Tony's wonderful products. Thank you for playing our game with us. Good night and good luck. All right, panel, let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Brigadier Leslie Wheeler.
What is your name, please?
My name is Brigadier Leslie Wheeler.
What is your name, please?
My name is Brigadier Leslie Wheeler.
Once again, panel, follow along, if you will, with your copies. I, Brigadier Leslie Wheeler, am Major and Resident Governor of the Tower of London. I live in the Queen's House on the Tower grounds. I am responsible for the management of the Tower's 18 acres and dozens of buildings, as well as responsible for approximately 400 civilian and military personnel who live within the walls. The crown jewels of England are kept in the Tower. I was appointed to my present post by the War Department with the approval of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Signed, Brigadier Leslie Wheeler. Here are 3 stalwart British gentlemen, each claiming to be Brigadier Leslie Wheeler, Governor of the Tower of London. And we begin this round of questioning as soon as our guests are ready with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you. Tell me, I don't know if this is a de rigueur. I don't even know what that means, but...
It's like a dairy farm.
Dairy farm? Well, which kind of cows give the most milk? I don't know. I was going to ask number 3 that last time, and I couldn't make her out. Number 3. Who was Bloody Mary?
Bloody Mary, a cocktail, I believe.
Saluted in song and story. If this guy turns out to be from the House of Lords Gin Company again. Number 2, you got a better answer than that? Let's get serious here, fellas.
Well, it might have been Mary, Queen of Scots.
Number 1, is that correct? Bloody Mary?
I should have thought it might have been King Henry VIII's daughter, Queen Mary.
Thank you.
Polly?
Wasn't Queen Mary, King Henry VIII's daughter, and Mary, Queen of Scots the same person? They weren't? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't remember.
That's a revenuer in the audience.
Oh,
Don't pay
I
attention
see.
to her.
Tennessee is dry.
Yes. Number 1, what castle is near Eton?
What?
Castle is near Eton.
Oh, Windsor.
Number 2, what is the name of the chapel at Windsor Castle?
Eton Chapel.
Number 3, what is the name of the chapel at Windsor Castle?
St. George's Chapel in the castle.
Number 1, who cleans the crown jewels, how often, and are any missing afterwards?
That's a very difficult question to answer. I suppose quite a lot of people clean the crown jewels.
How often is it cleaned?
Oh, once a year.
Once a year.
Don?
Number 1, what time are visitors allowed in the tower on Sundays?
In the winter, they're not allowed in.
Number 2, what time are the visitors allowed in the tower on Sundays?
Not until after 1 o'clock.
Number 3, what time are they allowed in the tower?
They're not allowed in the tower on Sundays.
On Sundays?
On Sundays, not.
Number 1, can anyone visit the actual Tower of London itself, the tower?
Anyone may, yes.
I'm speaking of the specific Tower of London itself, not the whole business. Number 2?
I suppose you're speaking of the White Tower, which is really the main tower there, and the answer is yes.
Yes.
Anyone can visit.
Anyone can visit number 3?
Yes, they can, on ordinary visiting days to the tower as a whole.
Number 1, Kitty.
Number 3, where is the Koh-i-Noor diamond?
The Koh-i-Noor diamond is in one of the crowns. I can't remember which. There are 7 crowns among the regalia.
Number 1, who comes to fetch the crown jewels when the Queen opens Parliament?
That is a very confidential matter, and no one is allowed to.
I thought I might find out. Number 2, who holds the crown on a velvet cushion at the opening of Parliament?
Lord Chancellor.
And what's his name?
The present Lord Chancellor?
Yes.
It's just changed since the election.
Number 3. Number 3, who holds the crown on
You
the
have
pillow?
a chance now to cast your vote since the election, panel. So if you will, please, mark your ballots without consultation and vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set? Ready, Polly?
Well, I did I did eliminations.
Yeah.
You know, number 2, the name of the chapel is St. George's Chapel. Number 2 said Eton, so I disqualified him. Number 3 said St. George, so then I waited. But then he said Queen Mary, Bloody Mary was a drink. Now, he was either being funny, which it was, and he really knows, or he didn't want to answer and sort of like, sneak along. Number 1 seemed to answer everything properly, excepting that he has on the kind of suit that he should be wearing if he really is the real one. So he probably isn't, but that's who I voted for.
Would you mind going through that again? No, don't. No, Don, please, your vote.
I voted for number 1's pure guess on my part, but I couldn't get right with
Well,
anything.
number 1 looks like a beefeater, and I think the beefeaters are in the Tower of London, but I think it's number 3 on the basis of his answers. And also he knew where the Koh-i-Noor was. Oh, I didn't ask number 1 where the Koh-i-Noor was.
No, you didn't.
That's an interesting reason, to select one on the basis of his answers. It's never been tried before.
Yeah.
Tom Poston, your vote, please.
Well, I voted for number 3, but I have a couple of other numbers here. I voted for number 3 because I liked his answers, and I'm here to tell you I'll vote for a guy that likes to have a good time as much as he does.
Especially with a Bloody Mary. All right, there we go now with our votes, and let's check them as we discover which one of these 3 gentlemen is really the Brigadier in charge of the Tower of London, governor thereof. So will the real Brigadier Leslie Wheeler please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. Very nice to have you with us tonight. Number 2, would you tell us your real name, please, and what you really do?
My name is Gerald Wynn, and I'm in charge of public relations in the Western Hemisphere for British Overseas Airways Corporation.
And number 3, sir, may I have your real name and what you do?
My name is David Farquharson. I'm a director of the Birmingham Box Company of Birmingham, England.
I thank you, gentlemen, and in checking our score, for 2 weeks now, I've had 3 and 1 right along. We've broken it right now with this one, 2 and 2 this time, meaning there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Tony. And, of course, on your way out, there will be a gift package of all of Tony's wonderful products for each of you. Good night. Thanks for being with us, and good luck to you. And I guess we've come to the end of our time for tonight, panel. Interesting combination there tonight. We didn't do too well for the challengers, but we did all right for ourselves, and I guess that's what we're here for. Continue good luck with the play, Tom, and good night, panel.
Thank you. Good night, Bud.
This is Bud Collier saying good night from the Tony Company and reminding all of you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is Marketson Bill Godwin production in association with the CBS television network. Miss Bergen's Gown by Wilmot. Contestants Dress by Seal Chapman.